Hello and welcome to Watch Releases Recap for the week of April 18th until April the 25th. My name is Oleg and this is a weekly YouTube show where I talk about the newest watches being released. First, let's talk about the new Orient Mako Limited Edition watches for the 75th anniversary. Orient is a Japanese watch company and this year they're celebrating their 75th anniversary. We already got quite a few different releases from them and I'm guessing we're gonna get a lot more in the coming months. This one is the new limited edition of the Mako diver watch. I personally owned the Mako back in the day and I'm a big fan of these watches. They were released about 20 years ago, but they have a bit of a cult following because of their compact design as well as pretty good specs. This new special edition comes with a special dial as well as two different variations. There is the brushed stainless steel bezel look as well as the blue aluminum bezel insert to match the sort of sky blue dial. The dials are very attractive. They feature this sunburst pattern as well as the day-date complication and applied indexes. These special editions also differ from the standard models by having sapphire crystals as opposed to mineral crystals on the standard Mako. As far as the cases go, the one with the day-date complication is the larger one, almost 42 millimeters in case diameter, 12.8 millimeters in case height. It's made out of stainless steel and it features the caliber F6922 automatic movement that beats at 3 Hz and has 40 hours of power reserve. The other version, the date only complication one, that one is 40 millimeters in diameter by about the same height, 12.8 mil, and it's very similar in terms of lug-to-lug distance, 46.5 millimeters as opposed to the other one being, I think, 46.8. So very similar, and the two watches I'm guessing will wear very similar on the wrist, even though this date-only version is slightly smaller. This one is also powered by a slightly different caliber, is the caliber F7622, is the same movement just without the day of the week complication. And in terms of the pricing and availability, both of these are limited editions to 6,000 pieces for each version. The one with the blue bezel is priced at 430 euro and the one with the stainless steel bezel is priced at 400 euro. The new Studio Underdog, Avocado and Guacamole models. Studio Underdog is a relatively new watch brand, however, they have already established a pretty strong identity in terms of their design language and their branding. They have done various collaborations, but I think by far their most popular model is this watermelon version. And ever since that model was released, just like with many other popular watches, Chinese companies started doing homage watches and straight up copies of that model. On top of that, they started taking some creative liberties and creating sort of different versions of that watch. Now, what Studio Underdog did here, they actually copied the designs that Chinese companies copied from them in the first place, which I think is a very clever idea. And that's actually the masterclass of showing how to use your small brand to your advantage. Because Studio Underdog is a relatively small watch brand, they can do moves like that and they can use it to their advantage by marketing this watch and marketing the fact that it is a copy of a copy. Larger watch brands, legacy watch brands can't afford to do that. They're sort of too big to pay attention to homages. So this is very smart marketing. And I actually got a chance to check out both of these models. There is a timepiece show happening in Vancouver this weekend and I was lucky enough to attend it. By the way, great job organizing that show. It's really fun. I met some people that watch this YouTube channel, which is fantastic. And also it was just a fun experience overall. It's really cool to see all the watch brands in one place. So I did get a chance to check out this watch in person and it does look pretty good. The dimensions are the same as the watermelon version. It features a 38.5 millimeter diameter by about 12.5 millimeter case thickness. The cases are made out of stainless steel and they feature a sapphire sandwich. The movement powering this watch is the hand-wound Seagull ST1901B, which is a column wheel chronograph movement with 21 joules that beats at 3 Hz and has 50 hours of power reserve. Between the two versions with the sort of yellowish dial or the pure green dial, I prefer the green dial. I think that looks pretty good. And these are sort of fun watches that don't take themselves too seriously, just like Studio Underdog as a brand. It's very on brand for them. In terms of pricing and availability, these will be a limited release models. They're limited release to the window of orders. So you can order these watches on May 8th between 3 p.m. and 12 a.m. So they're only going to be available for 1 day for orders. And they're priced at about $675 US. The new Christopher Ward C12 Loco models. Christopher Ward is a British watch brand that I personally am a big fan of. I really like the work that they're doing with their sort of legacy models as well as their new releases. This new watch is a combination of a couple of watches, at least that's the way I see it. It has a few elements of Bel Canto, which was sort of a revolutionary watch for their brand. It was this high-end complication at affordable price. And it's also a combination of the 12, which is their integrated bracelet design. Now the two are sort of combined with a new movement and a new look. This is actually another watch that I got some hands-on experience with at the Vancouver Timepieces show. It's a really cool watch, especially when you look at it in person. You can definitely see a lot of work and a lot of thought going into this design, as well as the execution of the finishes and overall balance on the case and the movement. In terms of the dimensions, I think it's very reasonable, 41mm diameter by about 13.7mm in case height, and a lot of that case height does come from a boxed sapphire crystal. This model is powered by a new in-house caliber CW-003 movement, which is a manual wound movement beating at 4 Hz and having 144 hours of power reserve, in other words, 6 days. This watch is available in a few different color combinations, as well as the bracelet or the rubber strap. I'd recommend you get one on the bracelet and get the rubber strap separately. Out of all the available options, my favorite was the blue dial version. I think that looks very sharp, although orange does look really cool, especially paired with that rubber strap. This is not a limited edition. It's part of the standard catalog. On the rubber strap, it's priced at about $4,600 USD, and on the bracelet, it's priced at about $4,825 USD. The new Seiko Presage Style60s models. I'm really excited about this new watch release from Seiko, not only because these models themselves are pretty cool, which they are, but also what this release sort of represents for Seiko as a brand moving forward. So the history, the story behind this Style60s model line, it was introduced in 2021, and it was introduced in a pretty large case, 41mm. I know it doesn't sound very large, but for what this watch is, it was fairly big. And that's one of the things that people were complaining about. So what did they do? Last year, they introduced a smaller version in a 39.5mm case, but they moved the date to the 4:30 o'clock position, which nobody really likes. Now, finally, they have embraced the smaller case and they made the date at the 6 o'clock position, which I think is where it belongs. On top of that, the 3 dial color variations that we got are very attractive. We have the sort of mint green one, the gold one, and this light blue one. Out of the 3, my favorite is actually the mint green. I think that looks very good. These watches come in stainless steel cases, 12mm case height, as I mentioned, 39.5mm diameter, and they're about 46mm from one lug to another. Pretty compact, so they should fit variety of wrists just fine. These watches are still powered by the caliber 4R35 automatic movement that beats at 3 Hz and has 40 hours of power reserve. And although Seiko has given us a lot of things that we were asking for, they still haven't given us everything. That would be too easy, right? This one still has the hardlex crystal as opposed to sapphire crystal, which is kind of ridiculous in 2025. You just put sapphire on this watch. What are you doing, Seiko? But other than that, I think they're making steps in the right direction, definitely. So in terms of pricing and availability, all 3 models are part of the standard catalog. They're not limited editions, and they're priced at around €590. The new Formex Essence Space Glacier model. Formex is a bit of an underrated brand. The engineering and the quality of their timepieces is definitely there, and I think the pricing is somewhat fair. And this new Glacier model is another watch that I got my hands on at the Vancouver Timepiece show. This watch is available in the 39mm version that's only 10mm in case height. There's also the 43mm version that's slightly thicker, only 10.6 millimeters in case height. These watches are super thin and they wear on the wrist really well. They also have this sort of spring mechanism to the case, which makes them even more comfortable. And both of them are powered by the Sellita SW200 movement that beats at 4 Hz and has 41 hours of power reserve. This is actually the higher end version of Sellita, the COSC certified version, which is pretty good, especially with a watch like this. It's a little bit more expensive, of course, because you have that meteorite dial that's PVD coated, and the overall aesthetic of the watch is very attractive. So if you were to get this watch on the strap, it's about 1,870 USD. And if you were to get one on the bracelet, it's $100 more, around 2,000 USD or 1990 to be exact. And both sizes are priced at exactly the same price. So there's no price difference between 39 or 43 millimeter versions. I am a big fan of this watch. I think it looks pretty good. And I think also the pricing is definitely fair, especially for such a limited release. These watches will only be made in 100 pieces for each version. Next, let's talk about the new Ming 37.02 Ghost. Just like Studio Underdog, Ming is a relatively new watch company, but they have already established a pretty strong brand identity and design language. So this new watch is actually based on the Ming 3702, but that was in a stainless steel case. Now it comes in a titanium case with all monochrome look, which some people will like, some people not so much. I don't really love how this watch looks. I appreciate it for what it is, but I do prefer a little bit more contrast to my watches. This one is just a little bit too monochrome for my preference. In terms of the dimensions, it is the same as the stainless steel version. It features a 38 millimeter diameter by about 44.5 millimeter lug-to-lug distance and 11 millimeters case height. It still comes with 100 meters of water resistance, and it's still powered by the Sellita SW300M movement, which is an automatic movement that beats at 4 Hz and it has 45 to 50 hours of power reserve. And as far as the pricing and availability goes, I think this is where Ming had a bit of a misstep. It is a limited edition to only 250 pieces. However, this watch is pretty expensive, 3,500 Swiss francs. So yeah, I mean, it's a really cool watch, cool design. I'm sure the finishes are spectacular, but 3,500 Swiss francs is a lot of money. The new Zelos Helica models. Zelos is a very popular watch company. I reviewed a bunch of their watches on this YouTube channel, and for the most part, I get a lot of positive feedback about their watches. This new model is sort of go anywhere, do anything type of a timepiece. It comes with 4 different dial variations. My favorite is probably this pink salmon one. I think that looks really good, especially with that sort of guilloche pattern, although the other versions are also fairly attractive. They come in 316L stainless steel cases, 39 millimeter diameter by about 11.9 millimeters in case height, and they're powered by the Miyota 9 series movement, 9D15 to be exact, which is a high beat movement beating at 4 Hz, and it has about 42 hours of power reserve. In terms of the pricing and availability, I think this one is going to be released on May 30th, and each version is probably going to be either 150 or 200 pieces, somewhere around there. That's how many usually Zelos makes, and they're priced at around 500 USD. And that's it for this week's watch releases. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future. And before I go, I just want to give a quick shout out to John P, who does the same thing that I do, talk about watches on internet. He launched this new website called CoronaGrabs, on which you can buy and sell watches without a middleman, and from my understanding, without paying an arm and a leg in sales commissions. This is not a sponsored video. This is not a sponsored post. I just wanted to mention his website because I am a big fan of what he does on YouTube, and I hope this new venture goes well for him. So if you guys are looking to sort of buy or sell some watches or just want to check it out, I'll leave a link to his website in the description below. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.